not an illusion. I'm back. It's me, Jenny, and we're back in Threadquarters. Today is early August, the 9th, and we're back in a big way. I'm glad to be back. June was rough for me. We had to say goodbye to our pepper dog in a very unexpected manner, so it's been tough because we lost Sunny last year, so back to back, and then, you know, just having those shadow dogs for 11 years at your side, and then overnight, you know, well, let's just say I needed some time, and my hands needed to stay busy, which is good news because there was a lot of activity in and around Threadquarters. Grab a drink, grab a snack, whatever. It's going to be a long one. Just got a lot of starts actually across both categories here. I don't even think we'll have time for books today, but we'll see where we land. So like I said, lots of new starts. And speaking of starts, this little gremlin is Adalida Jo, and she hails from Tennessee. Her preferred name to ignore is Addie. She's an English Shepherd, just like our boys were, and she is a hot mess express right now. It's a good thing she's cute because she likes to get into my batting scraps. I don't know what it is about that texture, but she like it. So anyway, this is our new puppy. Okay, so let's just get into some FFOs because I actually have one. We're in the throes of getting fair ready. Our fair is in a couple of weeks, so I was, you know, ain't no minute like the last minute. And I've been trying to get my stuff together and get a plan for what's going to be entered. And I've been working on some stand-ups. So this is my first attempt at a stand-up. This is this was a bigger chart. I'll have to look it up. It's been a while. But this is my first attempt, and I think she's cute. This is on like 32 counts, something from the Hobby Lobby, DMC. This nutcracker was part of a bigger scene, and I just pulled him out because he's the most piratey, so that had to happen first, obviously. So I just stitched this, and then I followed I took some departures throughout, as one does. Vonna Pfeiffer's how-to video online for the stuffing part. She's awesome. She's taught me so much. She don't even know me, but I love her videos. And then the cording is Tiger Lily Designs video with the drill. She gonna be still back there. That's good. It's a good girl. For this cording. So this is my first attempt. I'm cool with it. I don't know if I'll enter that one, but I have also started these three. This was part of a set that I stitched on some Monaco that I dyed, and they are three that were designed by different folks but meant to go together. So to make them a set, I used this batik. I am not a batik fan because I just have nightmares of the dye running. So in this kind of situation with these stand-ups, I'm fine with it because you're not going to wash it. Hopefully they're not going to be sitting in a situation where they get wet, but as you can see, I am stitching the bottoms on these, and then I'll make some cording to go around top. So as you can see, the stitching on these kind of gives more space to avoid that with your compass whenever you're making your round there. But this one is stitched in, I think it was like a 5x7. So I just lowered my stitch length on my machine and stitched probably like 2 or 3 times over this stitched part because I was nervous that when I cut the seam that we would lose some stitching. So I just lowered my stitch length to basically like, I think it was like a 1 maybe. I don't know. Let's just say it wasn't going to get picked out if this ended badly. So just to give myself a little security because I don't know what I'm doing. But she turned out, this one's my favorite. I mean, come on. So I think what I'm going to do as far as my cross stitch entry is finish these girls up and enter them as a set. We'll see. So that's my fully finished section. This is kind of a new addiction. I just want to have about like a whole army of maybe like 50 nutcrackers, like different sizes, stitched on different things. And I've got quite a nutcracker collection, so we can make it happen in, you know, the next 3 decades maybe. Have just a little army. I'm really down with these stand-ups and kind of want to do everything in a stand-up. So those have worked out. Now, as far as finishes go, like I said, my hands needed to stay busy. I gotta excuse my unpreparedness here. I had to puppy-proof the entire house, which is makes you think like, why did we want a puppy? Of course we wanted a puppy, but damn, they get into everything. Okay, so I had a finish on my Strawberry Fields Forever. And loving this. I just have found that if I put something on a scroll rod and keep it there, I'm going to reach for it because it's already out. So that's what happened here. It was handy. I kept reaching for it and I'd be like, let me just do like 3 strawberries or let me do a length of thread. And then it just kind of came up and together really quickly. This is part of the Beatles Magical Mystery Tour from Blackbird. This is the pattern. And I definitely stitched it on something that was not called for. This is actually Earthen 32 count Lugana. And I'm not a pink person, but this strawberry vibe had me convinced. I'm sure I ordered this thinking it was less pink and then got it and was like, it's fine. Just add it to stash. It's fine. So that's exciting. That's a finish. And then to continue on with my Beatles stitches, I finished Eleanor Rigby in Sweet Baby. Again, this was part of the same set. Girl, yeah. Sorry for not ironing. That's not what kind of channel this is. We like the Beatles around here. So this was an option. You could stitch it kind of in this goth vibe, which I got a couple friends that would like this. But I like the colored version for myself. So that's what we did. This is stitched on some R&R 32 count linen. I think if I have an R&R opportunity in the future, we're going to go with the 36. This was just a little loosey-goosey for me. No biggie. Then I also finished Izzy Decayin by Silver Creek Samplers. Basically changed everything that was this like brownish green color. We had to make that purple. So, whew. Then too, I thought this was going to be smaller, but I'm probably going to frame this maybe or put it on like a flat finish. I will be keeping this. A lot of my stuff I give away because that's what I like to do. But this is my humor. This is so punny. Silver Creek Samplers has got some funny stuff. So I'm happy to have finished this. This was on a, let's see. It's an Ada, but this is a thick ass Ada. This, I prefer stitching on like something that has some feels to it. Just like these were stitched on Monaco that were Quilt Junkie exclusives in my kitchen. But that Monaco has some grip to it as far as like sometimes the linen's really thin. I just kind of prefer it. Truly, I'll stitch on anything. But this was stitched on 16 count Ada, and I also did a sulky conversion, which was fine. If you like stitching with the single thread, the sulky coverage is there for you. And I got this off of Facebook. Crazy Hamster, I can't remember exactly, but I'm excited because I've got a lot left here. So I got to trim that down and put that back in my stash. So that's finished number 3. I don't know if you're counting, but I was kind of on a roll. Okay, and then let's see. I have another finish that is not with me. I finished my Aunt Kay's mother's tree. I got to go see her like right after the 4th. My mom and I drove to see her, and then my crazy ass cousin Erin, she was in from Hawaii, and we got her a little kit at the Golden Needle, and now she's stitching. I don't know if she watches this, but we expect to finish. My Aunt Kay is like, she stitches it, she finishes it. She stitches it, she finishes it. Her turnaround is insane. I'm very impressed, and she is a Goodwill junkie. So when I was there, we hit like 4 or 5 thrift stores, Goodwills, and I got some frames that are in the house so I could do some finishing here. But it was such a good time. I love that she has it. I love that she loves it. And I don't think I'll be stitching that ever again. The names are fine. That tree is just girthy. Let's say that. Let me see how many stitches she was. Because I've seen these mother's trees that go further back. 15,000 stitches. So, I mean, she wasn't small by no means. But I should have had that finished sooner. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So let's just crank that up to ding, 4 finishes. And then my friend Amanda _stitches told me, hey, you should try 40 count. You're going to love it. So I did. And this was a start and finish. I changed lots of colors on here. This is, I think this is Silver Creek. If not, I'll fix it. But this is out of a booklet I got. And they're just these little, I can't remember how big they are. I think they're 4x4 if you stitch it on 32 or 16, but they're just all these puns. Like there's one with a horse that's called Harry Trotter. That's definitely going to be stitched, but I stitched this on some 40 count. I don't even remember what it was. I'll find it because it's the one that's printed, and I got it from Fat Quarter Shop because they take all my money anyway, so it's just real easy to add to cart. So finished her. I think I'm going to try to make her, if I can figure it out, like a bookmark that sits on the corner of the page. You know what I'm talking about. I'll figure it out. So anyway, let's rack that up to 5 finishes. And then also in July, we had Frogwarts year 6. So here was the pattern. So this is a digital retreat brought to you by the Black Needle Society, and it's such a good time. It's digital retreat, kind of hosted through Zoom/Facebook. You'd be surprised how much connection you get out of that. So there's several people that I love. Like, I don't even care about the retreat, really. I just like to get on and shoot the poo with them. But I did get to stitch a few days, and this is how far I got on this. I love this. Again, Frogwarts. We have 6 patterns now. I forgot. This needle minder came with the box. Slug Club. Katie's a visionary. She truly is. She has a way to just put her little spin on everything, and it's truly a chef's kiss. We just had such a good time catching up. And I think I just stitched on that, and I may have pulled out a few of these other whips to meet some prompts. And I think it looks like I was kind of organizing myself within my project bag here. And I think year 4 got some more, yeah, of course, the bottom. So year 4, we're getting there with year 4. Just working on this band across the bottom. Everything up top is done. And this bottom is some good challenge stitching, so pull that out. Then, when I took my Aunt Kay's tree off, I replaced it with Queen of Freedom, because I started looking at my stash, and there's some of my whips that are not calling to me, so I'm not going to force myself to stitch on them. They'll stay there, they'll be there, but this is one that I really want finished, my Queen of Freedom. So we had some progress there. We even have some beading. Y'all, beading is so satisfying to me. When I first started stitching, I was like, ugh, beading. But now I'm like, ugh, Kreinik. So that's where she's at. This is a paper pattern, obviously. It's a out of print Mira, but we're getting there. You can, her dress is kind of coming together. I didn't even grab the pattern. I'll pop it in here. But like I said, I just kind of took a survey of my whips, and I was like, life's too short to stitch on stuff you don't want to. The process there was stitch some Kreinik, reward yourself with something else. Kreinik, it looks good, but God, it is just, let's just say, it tests your patience. Okay, and then the next one I did was my medium dog sampler in memory of my Sunny Butt. This lives in one of my scroll rod snuggies. I don't think I can use the word snuggie, so we'll call it a quilty because I just quilted a little cover for it. I wish that scroll rods were more like universally sized, and I guess some of them are, but I love keeping a scroll rod, and this keeps everything covered, and I just have put a little pocket, a vinyl pocket in here to keep all the stuff handy. I need to make a couple more, especially for my big nerds, to keep them protected, because we live in the desert, y'all, and it is dusty. So, making some progress on this. So losing Pepper made me really miss Sunny. That's just who I am as a person. Not sorry. So we bumped this guy up to 54%. So being stitched on a 32 count Lugana, it's Atomic Ranch weathered stone, and the gray is Dinky Dye's charcoal, and then the orange is almond M&M's Calabasas. So they're silks, and basically now all I want to do is stitch with silks, if I'm being honest. Look at this. I don't know what happened. I usually don't have a problem with measuring. Some might say I like measuring things. You know, nobody's perfect, people. So whenever I frame this, I'll probably frame it. I'm not worried about it. I think I can lace it up and get by with it. So, and then I put this J in here like an idiot. I was just following the pattern. I'll put his initials. This will be an S. And then it has another initial over here, which will probably be a B for Sunny Butt. That's what we called him. So this is going to be a focus. I really want to get this finished. I don't know what kind of scroll frame this is, but you can't really get it that tight. Or I just need to quit manhandling things the way I do. My hags sent me this pickle, which makes me smile. I wish I lived closer to them, but I don't. So that's that. That, like I said, we're going to focus on that. I really wanted to have that on my wall somewhere. And then, since we lost Pepper, I have started his memorial piece as well. This is called Forget Me Not. This is going to be a big guy too. This is by Modern Folk Embroidery, and truly been looking for a reason to stitch something And this forget-me-not is just, I mean, obviously, we ain't gonna forget a pepper dog, so I felt like it was fitting. And then Amanda said, hey, you should try Gloriana's. So usually if Amanda says jump, I say add to cart. And here we are. So this is blue lilac, and I got this at Golden Needle. And then I'll stitch this, you know, to go with and along Sunny's piece, since they were twins. And then I just got charcoal again from Dinky Dyes. So they'll have the same color gray, and then the blue and the orange just are their colors. So, and then the fabric is similar. So that fabric too, this fabric is 40 count too. So after I stitched Paige Turner, 40 count. I live here now. That's me. And this pattern, look how huge this is. This is 379 by 303. So as Tona says, she's just a little girl. It's going to be huge. So I was looking for a way to shrink it. And after Amanda said, hey, stitch on 40, she was right. I do like it. And be a good way to shrink this down a little bit so it's closer in size to Sunny Sampler. And what I'm going to do is just kind of cherry pick what I want to be blue and what I want to be gray. No one's in charge of me. So that's what we're going to do. And this is on a Zweigart Newcastle. So it's a linen, which I was a little nervous that was going to be loose, but it's not. It's good and tight, which is my preference. So that's what we're doing there. And I just like remembering all the good times that we had with pepper dogs. This lives in a the project bag that came with in our retreat box from Frogworks. These are Luna's glasses, and Luna is a weird duck. She's one of my favorite characters, and then it has a little pygmy puff on it too. Came in the box, but Luna's a weirdo. Pepper was a weirdo too, so love that. And then, you know what they say when life's crazy and you're sad, just get a puppy and start a chatelaine. So you saw the puppy, so let me show you my chatelaine start that I am just in love with. This is on another Nerge frame. I like these. The ability to keep them taut is kind of making me want to sell or burn all my other scroll rods and switch to these or Millennium frames. There's, as far as these Nerge go, I got this one and my other one on Fat Quarter Shop. Of course, not sponsored. And I think they have one smaller size. These are huge, and I wish they had a little bit shorter, maybe like a half size of these, but I'm sure they do. I'm sure they exist in the world. Wait, this is Chatelaine's Desert Mandela, and this is an adventure for sure. So we've got some DMC. This is DMC here, which that's no problem. That's great. Preferred. This is some Petite Treasure braid here. This coyote is actually stitched 1/1, and this is on 32 count, but the effect it's giving with that like texture change is killer. This right here, these little cacti that are coming in call for a rayon. It's an Anchor product that I got in the mail, or it's headed to me, rather, and it's rayon, and we're gonna try it. I don't like synthetic anything, really, but we're going to try it. If not, we'll just sub it to good old 3 did. Talk about this over on my Discord. Knots and Plots is what it's called. Anyone can join. I just, like I've mentioned before, I can't with all the meta. It's burning my brain. So anyway, I started the Discord. We're over there, and I want to see if, like, when things kind of get calm, which is never, so probably just need to throw it on the calendar, maybe doing a chatteling group chat, like video chat with everybody, because Amanda's got one going, and her, of course, I was easily influenced by hers. And so we could maybe meet on Wednesdays and stitch. You don't have to stitch that, but if you just want to come chat and see what everybody's working on, talk books, life, other adventures, you know, there's really no rules except for be a decent human over there. So you can find my link to the Discord on Instagram, or just holler at me and I'll send it to you, whatever. Come one, come all, be a nice human. Let's chat and show each other what we're working on. So I'm excited to keep those going. So like I said, I'm kind of drawn to anything that's not being tucked away. So if it's just left out, so I'm going to keep these 4 things kind of left out handy, and see if we can just focus on them over the next month, 2, 3, whatever that looks like, and get some more finishing done. Next, I have some Happy Mail from Janelle, Tona, and Debbie. And this couldn't have come at a better time, because I was just going through it with Pepper's loss and everything. This is a fully finished item, people. Look how cute this is. This little shelf sitter is insane. This, I love this because this finishing piece was not meant for the way that it's used for. And I love a good spin. So this is basically meant as a shelf, like a little beep shelf. But those little geniuses turned it up and stitched me 3 little piggies. Can you even get enough of that? Look at the little noses. And it looks like there was some Kreinik involved, so bless their heart for that. But this is just, I mean, this showed up in the mail at the perfect time. So thank you guys so much. I will put this where I can see it and think of y'all hags making you bags every day. And, you know, I love some pigs. So here we are. Thank you so much. I love it. So cute. They all stitched in. I think Tona finished it. So that came with some haul from FeistyNeedle.com. She sent me I bought these, and she said, hey, it's gonna be late because I'm gonna send something else. So I ordered these. Y'all, Dirty Annie, she's my spirit animal. So this is Crawfish Queen, off with their heads. That's hilarious. Okay. Then she has Rudolph. I am a Cajun that was actually born in West Texas. Just kidding. I'm not a Cajun, but I love their food. I love their culture. We got married in New Orleans, so like I love it. They're just always down for a good time and have a real nice take on life. So I like that. And then I also got this one. Let's be honest, I'm a real sweetheart and a smartass. It's a package deal. Ain't it though? I couldn't have said it better myself. So I want to stitch that, and then of course, Tona just basically texted me and was like, hey, you want me to order this for you? And I said, yeah, I sure do. I love Dirty Annie. She and I share the same funny bone, and the stuff she's got coming out for her new market releases, I've been on Feisty Needle adding to cart for pre-orders, and she's got some good stuff. And basically we need to start a dirty feisty stitch along. I have some more haul from the Golden Needle. As I said, we went there when I went to visit my aunt. I got this 32 count. Okay, one thing about me, I love Atomic Ranch, especially their Lugana. I got this 32 count. This is latte. I mean, you could use this for anything, but I got this because I was thinking I was going to do something different for Pepper's piece. And this was close to the weathered stone that I had to match Sunny's. But anyway, I went a different direction, so I'll put that in stash. And then I got this 40 count. It's called Wetlands, and it's also Atomic Ranch. And I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but I just couldn't leave this at the store. Look at this. How spooky is that? And it's like I said, I am a 40 count stitcher now, so I needed to have a couple of things, but I don't know if I want to put a lady on this or some kind of swamp creature. I don't know what we're doing with this, but like I said, I just kind of jumped in my basket when I was there. So another thing I got there was, they were having a trunk show. Look at this. Harry P. Otter. Come on. Of course I had to get that. Are you serious? This is by December Stitches. I have something else of hers. I can't remember, but I'm sure it's punny enough. But this is just, I'll stitch this and put this out when I put all my Hogwarts castle and everything out in October. But this is also, I may kit this up for my niece and get her stitching on this because I think she would have fun with this, and it's small, so its finishes like 4x3-ish and a quarter, so I think it's a good beginner piece and it's fun. God forbid we have any fun. Then I got this kit. I've never done anything like this, but I feel like I can knock it out. This is called Skelly Made. And it's a keychain that will never be used as a keychain because I'm rough on my equipment and I just don't know that this would survive. But I feel like this would be like very therapeutic to bead that. I've never done anything like this, but I just thought, I've also never seen anything like this, so that jumped in my cart as well. I got my Aunt Kay a piece of 32 count to stitch a Nora Corbett fairy. She got, I don't know where she got it, probably on one of her thrifting journeys. She got Holly, the little fairy, and she loves the look of dark fabric, and she's a relatively new stitcher, but she has stitched a ton of stuff on dark fabric. And so I got her a really dark piece of 32 count linen, and I just said, listen, we'll get you set up, we'll get you going, good lighting, put something white behind you, but I really think that this linen, you will love the payoff, and just go slow and get your fairy stitched on something you love instead of something that you kind of medium like. So that was my golden needle haul. I hope that Kay is stitching her fairy, and I told her, I said, at the end of the day, if you abandon ship, like, I'll just mail me that linen back. But I think that linen, it's like a dark hunter kind of green, and there's a little bit of modeling in there with some lighter green. I just think it's gonna be popping because that fairy, I don't know if you know Holly, but her little fairy skirt has reds and greens because it's made out of holly. Get it? But anyway, so I'm like, you can do it. Just take it easy and you can do it. So that's what I got from Golden Needle. Then I got this, this is Fiber on a Win Latte. I just ordered this from 123 Stitch, I think. I got this for my Shadowed Lane. The called for is white, but I feel like it's a desert piece and it needs a little bit more like earthy tones behind it. And then too, white in my dusty house, like, girl, we ain't doing that. So that's an add to stash. And then I also got a little message from Amanda saying like, hey, check this out. XJU Designs has dropped her spooky collection. Let's see, Halloween collection 2025. So this is just some stash builder because I have so much fabric. I needed some more. So this came in a set of 5. I don't remember what I paid for it, but I feel like for these 5 hand-dyed pieces, it was a really good deal. I mean, it wasn't a deal, but it wasn't bad, I guess. Like, and then too, the feel of this is stellar. And then I got this other piece from her too, because, you know, I was already paying shipping. So I threw this in too. Amanda and I have some plans to do a stitch along to coincide with some Lee Bardugo books that we both very much enjoy. So fabric for the stash. Then this is called the Pensive. This came in our box, and this is super cool. I don't know when to stitch on it, but it came in the box, and 5 stars. Okay, let's see what else is. Oh, another finish. Look at this. This was fitting for the month I had too. Look at this guy. So one of my besties, her name's Lisa. She's not a stitcher, but she is a very, very, very good friend. She got me this kit, and I love all things sea pirate, you know. Now, do I ever want to go on the ocean? No, I don't. But I like hearing about it. I like how I talk like a sailor sometimes. And my grandpa was a sailor. So anyway, finished that. I forgot I finished that. We're going to get that up on the wall real quick. I guess the only other thing cross-stitch related that I want to mention is go to Feisty Needle and pre-order all the cool stuff that's coming down the pipe for the fall. I can't believe the amount of patterns that are coming out right now. It's wild. So with that being said, let me turn this camera around, actually move it around, and we'll talk some quilting. As you can see over here, we've got a couple of projects in the works. My studio is a huge mess because I've got 2 quilts going. Then I was like, oh yeah, we need to get my stuff set up or decided, worked on with what we're going to do at the fair, what we're going to put in. As far as quilting goes, I'm going to enter my niece Kate's cactus quilt, and I'm going to enter my parents' king size quilt. Entering quilts is always nerve-wracking because things can go wrong and you put so much time in there, but I think it's important to share your craft, and especially like, let's keep these crafts alive. So we're going to try it and just pray that everything comes back in the same condition it was dropped off in. Truly, we'll see. But anyway, let me move this around and then we'll talk quilting for okay, quick turn here. I hope the light's okay. You'll know this is like a hobbit hole minus the windows out here. The light's a little funky, but anyway, so I've got 2 quilts that I'm working on. This baby quilt right here is a gift, but I've got one more block here, and then we'll do some sashing. And I love this little rendition of a 9 patch. This pattern is from this book by Moda Bake Shop. Did someone say cake? So this is full of patterns that are 4 10-inch squares. I don't know how many I've made out of this book. This book definitely, I'm sure I got it at Joann's. It says it was $26, but I know I didn't pay for that because that feels a little steep for Joann's. I probably had a coupon or they were half off or something, but you don't care about that. Especially because, rest in peace, my girl Joann. This is called Garden Gate, and from the kitchen of Jen Dally. So this book is really good if you're looking to get into quilting. These kind of books that are in color and that are published like this through Moda, they are the best to get to follow directions. Like truly, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. So this is the size that this quilt was supposed to be. So if you can see here, you're looking at 4 by 5. This is for a baby girl. She don't need that. So we just cut it down. We just make it smaller and adjust, do a little math and adjust to it. And that's what we'll do. I just like making quilts for fresh humans. Speaking of, I didn't even tell you, I do have an FFO. I finished a baby quilt for one of my friends that used to be in my bunco group. Yep, I play bunco with some ladies. And anyway, she moved, but she is an Aggie. And here is a couple of remnants that I had left over from the quilt I made her. Look at little Rev on there. Have y'all seen Rev lately? She had eye surgery, and now she wears an eye patch. I mean, not that that'll help our football team at all, but at least she looks badass. Let me put in a picture, obviously, of what that looks like because I don't have it here. But I do want to tell you the pattern I used because it was free online. And I just want to give a shout out because it was a really good pattern. Brick's Baby Quilt by Amy Smart, Diary of a Quilter. I don't know if you're not following her and keeping up with her stuff. It's a loss. It's a detriment to you because she gives like, look at this. She gives a lot of good directions on her site. Good for beginners here too. I like this because it's kind of controlled chaos. And if you've got bigger prints, like I did with that Aggie fabric, it really lets that shine. So check her out if you're looking to make some baby quilts. She's got lots of patterns. So that little guy's on his way to a unborn child. That we don't even know the sex of that baby, so they're just hoping either way it's an Aggie. I mean, that's kind of how Aggies work, so I'm not surprised by that. And then the other thing I've been working on is this sawtooth Tarleton quilt here. One of my cousins is starting, if she's not already, back to school. She's starting at Tarleton State University, and she requested a quilt, which when you get an 18, 19-year-old that wants a quilt, that's pretty special because they usually just want cash. At diaryofaquilter.com, and this tells you like how to cut, finish sizing. This is like, I don't know why this is free. Like I should send her money because this is such a lifesaver. This Moda it's by Ali K Designs, and this is a Texas fabric. Listen, I think that apostrophe is in the wrong place. Am I wrong? Listen, one thing about me, I can't spell, but I'm pretty sure this is wrong. Regardless, let me just show you some of this fabric that we're piecing together. So like there's little Texas prints in the gray, and then we've got cactus and wildflower in the gray. Then you get popped with some sharp whites in here. So I'm just kind of going through and picking out of this and then pairing it with purple. And I'm trying to pull in some solid purple, some grunge fabrics that I'm working with to just kind of calm that big print down. And y'all know I like a grunge. And then I'm pulling in different kind of purples to bounce off of that print. Because if you look at that Tarleton print, it's got some different tones of purples. Also, this was this is a shirt. So it's got a different texture. I just love in quilts when there's different texture. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but you can see how these are going to play together. I'm trying to just balance as we go. Each block's a different block, but they're all a sawtooth. So I like a sawtooth. The only thing is we get a little bit bulky in this seam here on the back, because at this point you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers. That's my only complaint. But this is a, I wouldn't say beginner because you kind of got to get past that bulk, but this, the way that Amy Smart tells you to do it, if you were interested in doing a sawtooth, which is a very like traditional star or traditional block, I would say go there and work your way through it. Probably 2.5 inch sashing, just to kind of, again, like separate, calm it down a little bit, and it'll probably just be kind of an off-white or like one of these grungy grays, just so everybody everybody calm down. There's a lot going on. Yeah, I'm gonna go visit her and her family Labor Day. So, the TikTok. So, have a few little sewing projects. So I've made some project rolls. This one's for sale if anybody wants it. So these are just project rolls where you can keep your finished cross stitch rolled up in here. I may keep it because I'm kind of at the point with those last finishes. No, I don't need to keep it. I need to fully finish some. So anyway, I made several of these for Tona, and you can get them on her website. I think she's still got some left in different patterns and whatnot. You can go to Feisty Needle and pick one up and keep your projects safe until you are ready and you know what to do with them. I will say the fabric used in the ones on her website is less Saved by the Bell and more cross stitch related. So, but if you're a 90s kid, this is available. And then I also made a book cover. So I have started my journey to Middle Earth, as one does, and this is my Lord of the Rings. But this book, this girl's heavy and sharp, and I read at night, and so I was looking for a way to give me a little bit of protection against these corners. So I just made a book cover. I like it. The thing about book covers, though, is everybody needs to get on the same page on what the size of the books are. So I've been stitching a lot because out in my dungeon here, the heat will kill me. It's very hot out here. My little air conditioner, Jack turns it on for me, and then by the time it cools down and I'm off work, but work has been insane lately, so I haven't even had the spoons to come out and do math. So this, these two quilts should have been done easy peasy, but I just have been fried. That, and then Miss Pris over here, we've had her for a week, I guess, and I am so tired. I have been reading a ton. A few of the highlights that I do want to mention is, like I said, I'm in Middle Earth. And I'm reading this and listening to it, and I'm glad that I got the audiobooks because there's a lot of songs that I think I would have just glazed over. I was in the Discord, I was talking, and I was like, Tara, Will Woman Crafts, I said, hey, there's a lot of songs in this, and she said, yeah, I think I would have just kind of skimmed them too, but there's a message in the songs, and they're pretty comical. But so I've been listening to that and reading at the same time, kind of hand in hand, so that's going well. And then I had, let's see, the first two books of the Shadow and Bone series by Leigh Bardugo. I read the first book, Shadow and Bone, in I think 2 days. I could not get enough of it, and I haven't started the third one because I don't want to say goodbye. Okay, my niece read the first book of Inheritance Games, and she annotated the book and then let me read it behind her. The best. So she has a couple of friends, and those three, they're 11, I guess, around that age. So those three little girly pops are all reading Inheritance Games, and so I'll chat with Roxanne about what I read, and then of course I'm reading her annotations, and it's just the funniest. It's the best. And just watching and seeing what she thinks about what's going on, she'll be like, what? Are you kidding me? We all know this is a bad idea. This is not going to go well. We've seen this before. She'll leave her notes, and then I read behind her, and then in a different color pen made my notes, and then gave it back to her. And I guess she has probably shared that with her friends, but they're all reading this series. And I'm like, can you please hurry up on the second one? Because I thought the Inheritance Games was really good, and especially for their age group. I went in thinking it was going to be more Hunger Games, but it's not. It's totally different. And it's very there's puzzles and riddles, and it's a thinker, so that's exciting to see. But I think that if I can get my hands on the second book, I'm gonna try to catch up with them. I think it's so funny because everyone's like Team Jamie or Team Grayson or whatever's going on, but it's really fun, and so I've enjoyed doing that. So I will probably see you sometime in September if life will maintain itself, and I guess that's all I have for now. So don't forget, go check out FeistyNeedle.com and get your pre-orders and your project rolls and all your stitchy pattern needs. I know she's working on bringing threads in and working on eventually getting into brick and mortar stores. So it's so cool, just pulling for her, and she's a really cool human. But until next time, go make something cool. Bye.